All yours.
That's me. Thank you for coming. I'm going to tell you a story. So many years ago, I founded a company. It's called Corunet. I founded it with a partner that was a friend of mine for 40 years. We specialize in data-intensive applications. In this case, mostly for the retail sector, for payment systems, for big data, and so on. Probably I have worked with most of your data sometime in my life, because we work with big customers and we have that big projects. And once, a year ago, one of my customers called me. It was a new person in one of my customers. I had an idea. He wanted to get insights, push insights to their commercials to know what was happening with their data. In this case, it was sales data for a retail company. And they were exploring what they could do. They contacted 3 companies. They sent an RFP and made us sign an NDA and sent us some data. In this case, it was a CSV document, 60 gigabytes worth. It had a lot of information, units sold, family, country, brand, and so on. That was a Friday, and they want to discuss anything we could do next Thursday. So we had about 5 days to find what we can do with them. The first part was just exploration. So we didn't focus on production. We just focused on trying to be able to find some insights in their data, and in 2 lines. First of all was what should have happened yesterday. They already had information about their sales and so on, but there were thousands of categories, so it wasn't easy for them to search differences from what they were expecting. And the other one was forecast, a couple of weeks forecast, to be able to know what will happen in a few days, because retail sometimes is very variable, and some products go out of fashion very quickly, and they have to lower prices to be able to sell the last units before sales, and so on. So we started to work in these 2 things. The easy part in this case was the predictive models. We were going to use simple regression models because the data was more focused for that. And we didn't have time to explore deep learning and so on. And we thought that we knew what were the main variables. It was the country, day of the year, day of the week, days from the sales and days to next sale, and the special days, Black Friday, Singles Day, and so on. So for the first part, I had a data scientist, was starting to document everything and preparing the models, but we knew that we need that kind of data. Just a JSON arrays with the dates and the sales that we have every day. But we also knew that just one forecast model wasn't going to cut it. It was not enough. So since they had commercials assigned to categories, to families, and buyers, and countries, and labels, we needed to find how many models we could do, and what kind of models, what was the list of the possible models that we had. But it wasn't easy because there were 250 million records, 250 million single sales. It was just a small part of the sales of the company, but it was maybe not big data, but big enough for us. A friend of mine told me that I could solve it with a few indexes, but with two problems. I couldn't upload the data to the cloud because it wasn't my data, and I have signed an NDA. And I didn't have any beefy machines that I could make a cluster of. So the first thing I did was to try to import them into Postgres table. I made a table. I used copy because I thought that copy was faster. Tried with a single transaction, left it for a while, but it didn't respond. I didn't know what was happening, so I stopped it and cut it in batches of 1 million records, started to import them. But it peaked at about 20,000 records per second. 20,000 records per second was maybe 6 or 7 hours for the whole system. And afterwards, I had to create the indexes, and I had to think about the way I was going to query it. And I know it wasn't a good idea, but I didn't have any alternative meanwhile. But my data scientist had Python Jupyter notebook with Python and pandas. He started to load it. You can't load 300 million records into pandas database. Well, you can, but you have to use 80 gigabytes machine, or RAM machine, and it's not a good idea. So we opted for a Spark, and he started to set up a Spark cluster. But meanwhile, I remember that Javi told me a while ago that there was a database, and you know it was coming. And I thought, since I have a few hours left here, why don't I try it? Let's see if it's as good as Javi told me. So, since we are a Debian shop for the most part, and it was ready for Debian, I just apt-getted it. I installed it. It worked first time. You know, I didn't have to do anything. It's a big difference from a DB2 installation or a Oracle installation. But it worked. It worked the first time. So I tried to import it. I made a table. I copied the syntax from Stack Overflow. I didn't know what a merge tree was. I don't know yet what a merge tree is. I know that it works. And I thought I could try with the 1 million batches, but let's go with the whole set, the 60 gigabyte set. This is the sentence I used. You know, I dropped the first column. I typed the columns and insert into ventas. It says format CSV. After 2 minutes, 37 seconds, 0.82, it stopped. What? I thought it was broken, but I wrote a SQL sentence, select count, start from ventas, and it responded the same number that WC Minusel, the word count, the lines count in Unix told me a while before. So, yeah, one row, that's okay, it's a count. 241 million, 600, lots of records, so it worked. Then I tried to sum the units. I tried to add them. I had to have some faith because I didn't know what was the sum of the units. And it took 0.4 seconds. The experience I had with other databases was not similar to this. I was very surprised. So I tried, remember, not even 10 minutes had passed since I decided to try ClickHouse. I tried to make a SQL sentence to group the units, the sum of units, by the date. It's 700 and something rows, It took 0.3 seconds, and it gave me the total units sold for each day of the data set I had. That's my face. I didn't know that was possible, but so 0.328 seconds out of the box. One node, no configuration. It was a beefy machine with an SSD, but it was a desktop machine. I thought that Javier was right. So I tried to answer the question I had. How many models should I build? How many different combinations of country? Well, as you see description in there. This country is because of we were using string description, section, family name, and product line were available. How many combinations I had? And the result was, after 4.4 seconds, 15,000 rows, about 15,000 rows. Way too many for me. I decided to put a minimum, and having some units of, I don't know what was the number, I don't know, I can't remember now. But I found that we had about 1,027 different combinations of the variables that we had. So there it goes, the first part of the story. Maybe 20 minutes after I decided to try ClickHouse, I had already the answer to my question, to how many models I had and how many models I could use to give the customer, to tell the customer that we were able to do that. I knew that we were able to generate the Weka. I didn't know if I explained the kind of models that we were using. It was Weka Models. It's a software that published New Zealand University. It's easy. It's CPU bound, so you can generate the models in linear time. And we knew we were able to generate a few models per second, so it was no problem. 1,000 models. It was maybe half an hour to generate everything. Plus, each of the sentences that we feed the database. So first we get all the possible combinations. We grab the result, and we generate one query for each of the combinations of the model. So about 3 hours plus, to grab all the information that we need. With the model calculation and with the graphs, the charts, and so on, maybe 6-10 hours. That was good enough for us to work. Hey, but you say 10 seconds. Yes, I know. I said 10 seconds. We finished the proposal. We contacted the customer. We explained everything. It worked wonderfully. The customer was happy with the results. But afterwards, I discovered that I have something in my mind that wasn't correct. You know? I thought that we had a very big query, a big query like this. If you aggregate the information of some queries, it should take a linear time. You know, if one query takes 10 seconds, the information of 1,000 queries should take 10,000 seconds. But it wasn't right. I thought that I could take the whole set, the full set. You know, the full set with one data, one record for each day, for each family, each, I don't know what were the variables. And wrote a new query. We had some things that took from the Java system that was grabbing the data. We have some sections and so on, and executed it. The single query took about 8 seconds, you know, and the accumulated query took 9.799 seconds. So the first query, there was 700 results, took 8 seconds. The second query, there was 1 million results, took 9.799 seconds. And this is what I said, this is Fucking shit. I have never in my life seen a piece of software like this one. You know, this is the result. No, this is not the result. This is not the result. This is the result. So, as you can see, we got, this is sales. This is, I think this is Black Friday. This is sales. This is Black Friday again. No, sorry, this is winter sales and summer sales. This is Black Friday again. And we found the first day with the system lots of anomalies, lots of things that they were not taking into account in lots of models that had many, many insights that even now, a year after, we are still discovering, we're still finding. So I think that my conclusions is that ClickHouse is even better than data frames for data aspiration. Maybe not in all cases, maybe not for small data frames, but for small data sets. But for large data sets, it's wonderful. And you know, in 10 minutes, you can be working with it. One of the most impressive things is that it's suited either for development or for production. You can use the same data set, not in Python, but in Java in this case, for the two things. It's perfect for dense model generation. You know, dense model generation uses the information that's available for most of the days that you have in a record set. And if I wasn't already married, I'd probably marry ClickHouse. So and I'm not being paid. You know? So thank you so much. I hope you like my story. And if you want to tell me anything, I'm David at Twitter, and my DMs are open. So, any question?